Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Assassin's Creed Mirage on the Steam Deck, thanks to Ubisoft for providing a code of the game. Unfortunately, this game is not on Steam, only Ubisoft Connect, so follow the link in the description if you want to learn how to install it as a non-Steam game. So launch Ubisoft Connect. Once you're in there, first order of business, log in. Second order of business, go to settings and make sure to disable in-game overlay so it doesn't mess with us. And then just choose the game you want to download and you can play them right here. So, Assassin's Creed Mirage, click on play, the game will launch right away. We're using Proton Experimental. And it will take a few moments because it's compiling shaders, so I'll skip right to the meat and potatoes, so to speak. Alright guys, so we're now in the options menu. Inside of the game, you can lock your FPS to 30 here if you want to, for the 30 FPS target, but it's a little bit inconsistent, so native resolution is grayed out because we only have 800p available. Then on graphics, it's basically medium settings, with character textures on high and low depth of field. My target here again is 30 FPS. I'll do a 40 FPS attempt after this. Motion blur on because we're targeting 30, yeah. And instead of locking it to 30 with this menu, you can either do it inside of the game, which is not great. The frame times are not amazing and the latency either. So I'm going to show you another way in a minute using a command. So welcome to Assassin's Creed Mirage. And as you can see on native resolution with no upscaling, I had FSR selected, but since we're using native resolution, there's no upscaling whatsoever. So as you can see, it's pretty impressive. We're barely over 30, of course, some drops here and there seem to be CPU related, especially in denser areas such as this one. So yeah, it's not a coincidence that I'm testing right here.
Let us get a wider view.
So when you look at the entire thing, if you violently move the camera, it's a little bit harder for the Steam Deck. But I'm happy to see that the GPU's core clock doesn't drop below 1000 MHz, which is pretty common when you are CPU limited. So when you're CPU limited, it will drop the core, of course, the core clock of the GPU, because they have to share 15 watts. So the CPU says, hey, I need more clocks. Who needs to get it? Well, it'll be balanced by itself between the GPU and CPU. The GPU can go up to 1600 MHz, but in this game that number is pretty rare. So yeah, pretty happy with the results, really. I mean, a new game that runs on native res on the Steam Deck, while looking pretty good. We sacrifice a few things like the draw distance, but otherwise it looks okay. But my advice here to a more consistent experience is a 30 FPS lock. So let me show you very quickly the in-game FPS lock, which should give us the lowest latency, so 30 FPS. As you can see, the frame times are not perfect. It works. This is the easiest way to do it. But there's also another option called, well, a command for MANGOHUD, which is the same software that gives us the stats on screen. But that is outside of the game and we need to add a console command, which I'll leave in the description. So in my opinion, that's the way to do it. But as you can see, I mean, if you turn off the FPS counter, it should be fine, but it doesn't feel 100% smooth. But the latency is perfect, it responds. So let me show you that command and we get back into the game. Alright, welcome back. So in my case, I didn't make a different non-Steam game because I like to just have Ubisoft Connect and that's it. I open and all my games are there. go to the options, properties, and in the launch options, type this. It's in the description if you want to copy and paste. And where it says FPS limit 0, put whatever number that you want. Usually you want to be 1 frame above the number you put here. So if we want to do 30 FPS, let's put 31. And this is a million times better on the input lag part in comparison to SteamOS's FPS Cap. That's why I'm recommending this. And it should have better frame times than the in-game FPS limit. So once you do this, it's just a matter of launching the game again. So here we go. Alright guys, back into the game now with the MANGOHUD command for the 30 FPS cap. And I gotta say, latency is a bit worse than the in-game FPS counter, which is obvious, but the frame times are way better. Not sure if you can notice that. But it's completely playable, and the frame times are way better. So if you want to play at 30, in my opinion, this is the way to do it. Looks great, it's basically medium settings, and it's native resolution. That blows my mind. I was expecting to be playing at performance FSR or something, and no, not need for that. It works great right out of the box, like this. And you should be getting, I know it says 31 FPS and looks weird, but when you're playing the game, you'll be turning on this FPS counter. It'll feel like 30. If you look into 30 instead of 31, the issue is that it might sometimes jump to 29 for a second and it will feel weird. So yeah, it's amazing. I love this. Can't believe that I'm playing this well on the Steam Deck. It blows my mind, really. And it's on native resolution. So I think it's time for you to see it on my... what's the name of this? On handheld, so you can see how it looks on the hands. And I'll show you the 40 FPS configuration as well to see if it's even possible. And if it's worth doing. So one sec, going to swap over to the camera. Alright guys, welcome back. Same as before, but now using the camera pointing to the Steam Deck screen. Same performance because plugged in or not plugged in, same thing, same performance no matter what. And according to this, you get like 2 hours of battery. I would say probably more closer to something like 90 to 100 minutes. So yeah, it looks even better on the on the small screen, which is obvious, of course, but still. It's one of the few times where I feel like they actually worked on the performance side. And I forgot the controls, and I don't have heals. How convenient. Oh. Okay. Perfect, I just wanted to explore more. That was on purpose. Completely planned from the beginning. So yeah, I think this is great. Especially if you want to play on your crispy native 800p screen. I think it looks great, again. As you can see, the loading screens might be a bit longer than we might be used to. It's like 8 to 9 seconds.
What see you, my friend?
But in the city with the bird around, it's completely fine. So now it's time to try that 40 FPS configuration I've been talking about. So to do so, we'll need to, well, first of all, we're going to need to lock it to 41 FPS outside of the game. So I'll skip that part because I already showed you how to do it with the launch commands. If you didn't see it, roll back, rewind the video. But I think this is probably the best way to play the game because you get great visuals and consistent performance. So yeah, let's do the 40 FPS now. So one sec. Alright guys, welcome back. So now I changed to 41 FPS cap, still native resolution. On graphics, everything is the same, but you have two options now. You either enable adaptive quality, which is dynamic resolution. It allows you to dynamically adjust to get 30s, 45 or 60 FPS. The thing is, at 60 I had lots of stutters and it didn't reach 60. And at 45 we seem to be CPU limited, so you can do that with a 41 FPS cap. The pixel count might be a little bit low. Or alternatively, you can use FSR2 or XeSS with the quality upsample option. You can also use balanced if you think you need more stability. Personally, I think XeSS looks better, at least on the Steam Deck screen. And you can also play with the sharpness, which is always welcome. Alright, we're back with the adjustments again. XeSS quality, refresh rate at 40, and the command 41 FPS lock. And let's see how it goes. Let's see if we can maintain that consistently. Otherwise, again, use dynamic resolution with a 45 FPS option. The thing is, here I think we're limited by the CPU mostly. But a burb. Let's see the burb. Okay, we drop into the upper 30s at times. Another alternative is to use balance XeSS or FSR. Yeah, maybe better to use FSR in this case. It looks worse, don't get me wrong, but the performance impact of XeSS is very noticeable. So I changed my mind. Let's use FSR2 instead for performance reasons. If you want to use XeSS, consider balanced instead. Okay, there we go. It still looks good, but now you get 40s, so that's perfect. And the game is way smoother, without a doubt. And we use the same settings as before, but we sacrifice the resolution. And on the 17-inch screen, really, I think it's a no-brainer to use the 40 FPS option. The thing is, when the CPU starts to struggle, like right now, this happens. So yeah, feels like a no-brainer, but it actually isn't. Because as you can see here, when AI is chasing after us, see those spikes in the frame time and all that stuff? Well, that's because the CPU is suffering quite a bit. That's why our GPU clock, that was once at 1000 MHz, drops below 1000 MHz. That means the CPU is saying, hey, I need more power, and you only have 15 watts to share between the CPU and GPU. So the GPU lowers the clock so the CPU can do its job. So while 40 FPS is a nice attempt and worked pretty well when out of combat, when AI is going on, well, good luck. Which is a shame, but it's the nature of this. Sometimes you can get 40s, sometimes you cannot. In this game, I don't think it's a huge deal, personally. It's fine for me to play at 30. But just the fact that it runs at 30 with native resolution on medium settings, very consistently locked at 30, I'm super happy about it. That's how I'm going to play the game. Definitely. So why not 40? CPU bound. So yeah. But still, I was expecting way worse. I was expecting to be CPU bound at 30 FPS. So just make sure to stick to medium. On high, you're going to have more CPU limitation due to the draw distance of all the details in the city. So again, best configuration, 30s, lock with the launch command, medium settings, native resolution, crisp AF, and very, very consistent, instead of this crazy frame time we got going. So yeah, that's basically it for Assassin's Creed Mirage on the Steam Deck. Super happy on how it turned out, especially that we can get 30s with great visuals. considering it's a portable machine, you're probably going to get an hour and a half to 2 hours of battery out of this. So keep that in mind. On the 30 FPS mode, I mean. And if you want even more battery, on my 30 FPS configuration, just lower the resolution using FSR or XeSS. So thanks again to Ubisoft for providing a code, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye guys, thanks for watching.